In the last video, we discussed mornings, what I call the right start of the day, the morning aspect of an individual's life. Today we are going to talk about night. Imagine this. The house is quiet. The lights are off. You are tired. Your eyes actually hurt a little. You know you should be sleeping. You know what time you have to get up tomorrow. You know you are going to regret this in the morning, and yet you are still scrolling. You put the phone down, you look at the ceiling, 30 seconds later, you pick it again. Just one more thing. One more video, one more message, one more scroll, one more reply. And then you look at the clock. It's 12:18. And you think, why am I doing this to myself? Because you know, that's the strange part. You're not confused about what you should be doing, you know, and still you stay awake. So maybe we should stop calling this a discipline problem, because it is not. Because I don't think you are undisciplined. I think you are negotiating, and that too quite badly. But you are negotiating, you are trying to get something, and I think that's where this becomes interesting. Because sometimes you are not staying awake because you want more entertainment. You are staying awake because this is the first moment all day that nobody needs anything from you. Think about your day. Someone needed an answer, someone needed a decision, someone needed your time, someone needed your attention. Your phone kept asking, your work kept asking, your colleagues kept asking, your family kept asking, your kids, your husband, your wife, whoever you can be. Everyone needed a piece of your attention, your awareness, your consciousness. Your responsibilities kept asking, and you kept giving all day. And then finally, 11:47 p.m., nobody is asking anymore. The messages have stopped, the work is finished, and suddenly you have yourself back, so you don't want to sleep. Because sleep means giving this moment away. And tomorrow starts immediately, because your mornings are not designed for yourself. That's why I want you to look at this differently. You're not necessarily choosing the phone over sleep. Sometimes you're choosing this little piece of yourself over tomorrow. And that is a very different problem. There is a name for this. Bedtime procrastination. Not insomnia, not a sleep disorder. Nothing is stopping you. You just don't go. A few years ago, a researcher named Vanessa Hill sat down with 28 people and asked them what this actually feels like from the inside, and they said things like, I know I should stop, and I don't want to. And I feel bad while I'm doing it. They weren't enjoying it. They were negotiating with themselves in the dark and feeling terrible the whole time. The researchers called the paper, and this is the whole video in 4 words. It's satisfying but destructive. There is a bigger review too. 43 studies. It found what you would expect: less sleep, worse sleep, more tiredness the next day. Though the researchers were honest about it, the evidence is still early and they can't yet say what's causing what, which is fine. We take it. Because I'm not trying to prove your phone is ruining your sleep. Perhaps it's probably not. And I am certainly not here to diagnose you. I'm asking something harder, something deeper, something that is worth calling upon, something that is worth seeing. Why do you keep choosing something you already know is hurting you? And I want to ask you one thing. Don't answer me. Just answer it inside your own head. If nothing was waiting for you tomorrow, would you still be awake? Perhaps if you're watching this video in the night, will you still be awake right now? Because maybe this isn't really about tonight. Maybe it's about tomorrow. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is a door. And the moment you close your eyes, tomorrow is waiting on the other side. The alarm, the meeting, the children, the commute, the emails, the notifications, the decisions, the things you don't finish today. The people who need you, the version of yourself you have to become again in the morning. So perhaps you're not holding on to today. Perhaps you're refusing to start tomorrow. And I think that is why the behavior can feel strangely powerful. 11:47 becomes the last place where tomorrow hasn't started yet. Nobody has reached you. Nobody has asked anything. Nobody has told you what matters. For a few minutes, you belong entirely to yourself. And that's also why it's lonely. You are awake while the rest of the house is asleep, or rather, while the rest of the world is asleep. The screen is lighting up your face and you are surrounded by other people's words while nobody is actually with you. You wanted time alone, you got it. But you are not less lonely. You're just less interrupted. And then you look at the clock, 12:31, and you know you have taken too much. It gives you something. It takes something. Satisfying and destructive. In my tradition, there is a word for this: Sandhyā. It means a junction, a seam, the place where one thing becomes another. And it points at two moments in particular: dawn and dusk. Nobody in that tradition ever said, wake up at 5. They said something stranger. They said, seams are where it matters. And think about what you have, or rather we have been doing in these first 2 videos. Video 1 was about the first hour. the beginning, the moment before the world reaches you. And in this video is about the last hour, the ending, the moment after the world has finally let you go. We have, in a strange way, rediscovered the same idea. Not because we were trying to recreate an ancient practice, perhaps that's not the ideation of our videos, but because something about being human hasn't changed. The transition matters. How you enter the day matters. How you leave, it matters. There is a second word, and that second word is called Pratyāhāra, the withdrawal of the senses. Patanjali puts it fifth on the list of 8 steps. And here is the part that stopped me. It comes before concentration, before meditation, before you are asked to focus on anything at all. You first have to learn how to stop receiving. Everybody today wants to know how to focus. Almost nobody asks how to stop receiving. And apparently, that was always the first step. Maybe tonight, don't fix anything. Maybe you don't need to fix anything. Maybe it's time to go inwards. Maybe it's time to answer your own self. What am I doing? Where am I going? Because it matters. It matters that you know where your awareness, where your consciousness is. You don't need to optimize anything. You don't need to. Don't turn this into another project, please. Just notice the moment. Catch your awareness. The room becomes quiet, the phone is still there, the world is still there, but for a few minutes, nothing is asking you to simply respond. Sit with it. Just notice what it feels like to not be needed. And this is where I think we need to be careful. Because if 11:47 p.m. is the only time in your entire day that feels like yours, of course you are going to resist giving it away. So the answer isn't simply go to bed earlier, because that is actually not the answer. And it's not put your phone in another room. Those things might help, but they don't answer the deeper problem. The deeper problem is this. Let me name it to you. You have made the last hour of the day carry the entire weight of your own personal freedom. And that's too much weight for just 1 hour. If that hour is the only time you get to be alone, the only time you watch something you choose, the only time nobody needs you, the only time you don't have to perform, then telling yourself to surrender it earlier will feel like losing the only thing that was yours. Find 20 minutes. Anywhere in the day, it does not matter when. And in those 20 minutes, nobody reaches you. Not a walk, not a podcast, not a break where you scroll. 20 minutes where nothing is coming in. That's it. That's the whole thing. And here is what I think happens. It will be different for every human. But what I think happens is when the day has already given you something, midnight stops feeling like the last exit. Last time we talked about protecting the first hour. And now I think you can see something I couldn't explain then. The first hour is before the world reaches you. The last hour, however, is after the world lets you go. The exit. They are almost the same hours. Both are yours. And both get taken. Because your attention isn't a productivity resource, it's the material your life is made from. What you keep attending to become what you notice. What you notice becomes what matters to you, and what matters to you slowly becomes who you are. So tonight, when you see 11:47, don't judge yourself. Don't call yourself lazy. Don't call yourself undisciplined. Just notice the negotiation. And ask what you're actually trying to keep. Maybe it's entertainment. Maybe it's escape. Maybe it's silence. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's simply the feeling that for one small part of the day, your life belongs to you. And if that's what it is, that's the part worth understanding. Because you don't have to steal your life back at midnight. You can live inside it while the day is still yours. That's not discipline. That's not optimization. That's just a person who owns their attention. I'm Rudrayan. Last time, the first hour. Tonight, the last hour. Next, everything in between. See you at the sunrise.